How's everything going today, guys? My name is Copycat, and welcome to yet another video on Echoes in the Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom. Here in this one, now wanting to look at the top 15 worst echoes in this unique title. There are 127 of these things that you can use in this game, so there's definitely going to be some that are better or worse than others, to the point where you'll maybe question their existence to begin with. I'm going to explain why these bad ones deserve to be showcased in this video, and how they function in this version of Hyrule. And oh yeah, before we get started, if you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe to my channel, hitting that bell to stay notified when I upload new videos. Coming in at number 15 as the best of the worst echoes is the giant Goponga flower that can be found in the swamps of the Faron wetlands. These enormous poisonous plants spit out toxicity at nearby foes, albeit extremely slowly, to the point where they just end up usually getting destroyed, especially if there's a lot of enemies on screen at once. On top of that, it costs 4 energy to use, meaning you can really only put one of these down, plus maybe a lower level echo that won't be really anything special. So there's just better things that you can use that will do more damage, and will attack much more quickly than this. Next up at 14 is the Ghost-like Guinea, which comes in the level 1 and level 2 forms, being able to phase through obstacles so they can make their way much more easily to what they need to attack. Unfortunately, even though the level 2 one is very tanky, and its attack can do a lot of damage, it's just too slow to be effective at all, almost always missing their lick attacks and causing you to just waste time. I really wanted these Cyclops-like ghosts to be good, as the phasing part of their abilities is pretty useful. It's just, you won't find yourself using them that much. The level 2 Guinea can be found in the cave near Hyrule Cemetery, so you can get it pretty early in the game if you want to. At the lucky number 13 spot is another undead enemy in the Re-Dead, which on paper you'd think would be a great foe to have on your side. But it's just too ineffective to the point where I just refuse to use it. It just moves so god-awfully slowly. And its scream ability that temporarily stuns enemies just isn't good enough to save it from appearing on this list. The level 2 Gibbo is very similar to the Re-Dead, so much so that if it catches on fire, then it actually transforms into one. Also being slow moving, and also being a thing I don't use. If you want to find/use these things for yourself, then the Re-Dead is located just below the oasis of the Gerudo Desert, and the Gibbo is found in the cryptic cavern that's just to the southwest of the oasis. At number 12 is a bug-like foe that you can use as an aerial-based echo in the Needlefly, which can be found flying around the waters of the Zora River. Now, I think this thing isn't that helpful to you, as it just doesn't attack accurately enough. Plus, when it does end up striking a baddie, it barely does anything, with there being so many better options at your disposal. You can have a crazy amount of them at once, which is a big upside, and why it doesn't come in worst on this list. But either way, I can't say I've gone to these dragonfly things that often. An echo that potentially could be good, but only puts out really low level, low attacking minions, so it's actually not that useful in most situations, is the one that comes in at number 11 in the Beetle Mound. Putting this mound out will spawn beetles either endlessly or until the mound is destroyed. However, these beetles are super weak and only really can do damage to normal ground-based foes, meaning they can't do anything against anything that has flying. Really, my complaint is just that the beetles come out of it too slowly and that the mound can be destroyed too easily. So again, not to sound like a broken record, but there are just better options. If you do for some reason want to use this, then they can be found in this cave just northeast of Gerudo Town. The echo that's a number 10 in this video, I feel like is wildly disappointing in the Poe, which is a teleporting cloak spirit that at first glance you think would be pretty powerful, but unfortunately it's just not. Now this spooky thing doesn't attack by normal means, and instead just uses the fire from its lantern, dropping it around the stage to damage any foes who walk into it. Now, it doesn't directly attack those foes, and just lays down the fire, which is a major downside. And even this thing's phasing/dodging abilities don't make up for that. I guess if you do need to light things on fire, then you could use this to do that. But honestly, I'd rather just go with the Fire Keese or Fire Rizrobe, which are better. At number 9 is an echo that's really just used to distract other foes so you can get around them easily or destroy them more easily, is the Hoarder. When you place this echo down, you'll see that it hides underground with just the glow streams on its back appearing, where it either will spring into action when another foe comes near, or can be plucked out of the ground just like something straight out of Super Mario Bros. 2, being able to throw this ugly bug at anything you want to do some damage. Now, if you really want this very boring thing for yourself, then you'll definitely come across this eventually if you're in the Fair Wastelands. At the 8th spot is a bird creature that's actually not good at all as something to use offensively, and is just better as a tool in the Beacon, located within the southeast region of the Fair Wetlands. Like I said, these things are not attack-based foes, only possessing the ability to follow things and call to any nearby allies for aid, with it really only being useful as a way to efficiently glide from high heights by holding it, then jumping from those high heights. There are a few cool unintended exploits that you can pull off using this thing, but it's not enough for it to not be talked about in this context. One foe I find annoying to both come up against and use is the snake-like rope, found primarily lurking within the tall grasses of Souththorn Forest. I just find whenever I come across these things, they end up doing loads of damage to me, yet when I try to use them for myself, they can't do anything, almost always missing their attacks or dying before they can even get one off. You can have a bunch of these out at once, but that doesn't seem to really matter, as they still will miss their attacks, which is just frustrating to the point where I almost want to scream. At 6, we have another echo that has absolutely no offensive attacks whatsoever in the Ribbitoon, which you first encounter in the eastern part of Hyrule Field. All this frog-like thing can be used for is to set traps, so your other echoes can come in and clean up, croaking its little songs that lure enemies towards it. Again, this is basically just a distraction from other foes to give you a bit of a breather so that you can regroup. Although I am more of an offensive player and never really found a place to use this. Now, why this one makes the list and not the Drippitoon has to do with its function, as the Drippitoon makes it rain that needs to be used to quench fires to complete certain quests, where otherwise the Rippitoon isn't used anywhere meaningful. Coming in at number 5 on this list is our first inanimate object in the table, which is one of the initial things you find in the game and is meant to be used as a platform so you can traverse to higher up areas. However, if you compare this to the bed, there's almost no contest, as the bed can easily be combined with itself due to its longer length, where the table is too small and really can't be combined together so simply. I'd say the best use of the table is if you place usually immobile echoes on them, then bind with the table and move it around so those echoes now become mobilized. The best examples of this being with the Beamos or Deku Baba. Otherwise, the table is basically useless. The second worst creature echo from this particular title is the Sand Crab, or at least in my opinion, it's the Sand Crab, which only attacks in one direction, which is a pain if you're facing fast-moving foes. This really sucks, as it won't even change its trajectory if the enemy it's going after moves at all. Plus, it only takes one hit for them to get killed, meaning you'll probably steer clear of using these ones. Honestly, there's a bunch of foes that did not need to be echoes, but then again, I like the option of at least having them, needing to learn for yourself what works and what really doesn't. At number 3 is the last creature-based echo we're going to look at as being bad in the Zol, the slow-moving blobby green things that show up around Souththorn basically at the beginning of the game. I get that these are some of the first things you come across, so of course it's going to be a very underpowered thing to use, getting very quickly buried at the end of your echo list to the point where I almost forgot about them. Now, if for some reason I left a creature out that you think I should have mentioned in this video, then please let me know in the comments below. At the number 2 spot of worst echoes is not a creature, at least anymore, where I'm talking about the food ones that really only exist to distract enemies so you can attack them more easily. These include the grilled fish, the meat, the rock roast, and the carrot, most of which are also used to complete certain quests, but oddly you can't use the echoes of those things to complete those quests, as the person can somehow tell the difference, so they aren't even echoes used in that way. If that makes sense, it doesn't to me, but whatever. As you can see, you just place one down in front of certain foes, and instead of attacking you, they just go and eat it. so other echoes you have can attack them while they're distracted and they can be destroyed. Now, before we get to my number 1 worst pick, here are some honorable mentions. In my opinion, the worst echo in the entirety of The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, is the sign. A wooden plank with a placard that in-game just shows you what's ahead of you on the path that you're on. When you use it as an echo, then it just produces jokey text, including saying that the sign is made of wood so it's probably flammable, and also indicating that you can use it as a shield to block an attack. But only once, which is sort of funny as it's not exactly that helpful. I heard people online initially say they could be used as hints, although it seems like these hints are just kind of funny troll memes. Alright, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy this one. If I left an echo out you think I should have included, then please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, hit that bell, and go follow my Instagram at Copycat Gamer, where there I upload some cool clips and items for my collection that you won't see anywhere else. Hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!